Hello all of you wonderful people, and welcome back to another video for the day. We're going back into r/AmITheDevil, because I really do appreciate that you guys do like these storytime format ones. Some people say that it makes nice background music, some people say they like my voice, and thank you guys. So, if you guys would like to be absolutely amazing, see more videos like this, and just overall, just show your support, be sure to hit the like button, leave a comment down below to start up some wholesome internet discussions, and if you guys have not already, subscribe to the channel and turn on them notifications. Am I the antagonist for refusing to replace $1,000 worth of groceries after my tenant's fridge broke? Hi, my name is Marcus and I'm a landlord in Canada. Recently, one of my tenant's refrigerators, which was manufactured in 2006, broke down. It was pretty old, so it finally gave out. And unfortunately, everything in her fridge and freezer went bad. This happened over a long weekend, so there wasn't much I could do in the moment. I offered to help by placing what I could of her groceries, like ice cream and some meat, into a freezer that I have in a shed that I'm renovating. Unfortunately, that freezer also ended up being broken, so all of her stuff in there melted as well. I eventually bought a replacement fridge, but it was an older model from 2013, and it started leaking, causing another batch of her groceries to go bad. She now has a new fridge, which I got from another tenant in the building apartment who just moved out, which she was upset about seeing as it's used and gross. However, it works and it's nice, but she's demanding that I compensate her for $1,000 worth of groceries that were spoiled, as well as the money she had spent on takeout for herself and her child, since they had no other food and her daughter had expensive specialized food since she has issues with sensory that has lost, and she now can't buy it back. I discussed the situation with a family member I work with, and we both agreed to offer her $100 in compensation, considering the situation was largely out of my control. However, she refused the $100 and said that she will be contacting the landlord and tenant board to seek further compensation because this is ridiculous. I spoke to a buddy of mine about this, and he said that I'm being an a-hole and that this was my fault, which is making me wonder if there's more that I could have done. Am I the a-hole? I feel as though I was out of my control, and that she's being ungrateful, seeing as I willingly offered compensation and provided her with a new fridge. It's not a new fridge, it was from 2013, that's 11 years ago. Congratulations on everybody finding out that that was 11 years ago. She is still complaining about it in terms of use. Everyone I speak to claims I'm in the wrong, but I feel I need further advice because my family says that I did what I could. Edit. I speak with my relatives and I share the property with regarding upping the compensation amount. To add, the fridge was cleaned by the tenant who moved out. In my opinion, it was clean. Also, it was technically a national holiday, so my hands were tied. Long weekend. I spoke to her about getting renter's insurance next time, however, she got offended. The compensation amounted to of $100 was suggested because it was meant to cover the damages regarding her insulin that needed to be refrigerated that was damaged, not the groceries itself, seeing as I figured that wasn't my fault. However, I'll speak with my relatives. I appreciate your opinions. I'd added an edit since someone asked. The first fridge was broken due to age. Second fridge, which was in my shed, broke prior. I thought it was just a fridge, however, unfortunately it was both due to age and handling when it was put into the shed, so I was unable to save any of her belongings. Okay, so you knew that that fridge was broken, right? The third fridge broke because of the manufacturer, so now has a fridge that works. Last note, it is around $1,000 in groceries that she provided me the receipts. I can admit that groceries are expensive here in Canada. I'm still speaking with relatives about this because it's split. My uncle wants to stick to $100 while my father is pushing for $500. It's truly not up to me. So let me get this straight. The fridges that you had that were faulty and messed up somebody else's groceries when they very much could have gone to somebody else in order to replace them, you're trying to say that you're not at fault on that one. I don't need to be a lawyer to say that that is kind of messed up, and good luck on that one. Oh yeah, and also no way in shit $100 is gonna cover that insulin. Welcome to the American healthcare system. My sister's wedding was awkward because she fell for the geek social fallacies, and she didn't even notice. My sister Kate was an incredibly socially awkward type growing up. She had a very obnoxious and attention-seeking personality. She was definitely the arrogant type who didn't realize that people were laughing at her, not with her. As she became an adult, she made more friends for at least people who tolerated her, but still was incredibly awkward and obvious. When she got engaged, she wanted to have a huge wedding, and basically anyone she had a connection with in the last 10 years. That's where the geek social fallacy came in. If you've ever heard of them, they're these unspoken rules some people in geeky circles tend to follow. Like, you can't exclude anyone from anything, or if you're friends with someone, you have to invite them to everything, even if it's not appropriate. Kate has always been all about inclusivity, so when it came to planning her wedding, she was determined not to leave anyone out. It was a nightmare trying to get the guest list sorted out. Kate wanted to invite like 400 people, but only 100 people showed up. She went on about how it was going to be amazing to have all of the different parts of her life together in one place. As the list grew, I started to have my doubts, but Kate blew me off. Fast forward to the wedding day, and the reality of her decision started to sink in, for everyone except Kate. The venue was packed, not just with friends and family, but with an array of people who clearly didn't belong together. The whole event had this bizarre energy, like a poorly organized convention where no one knew what they were supposed to be doing, or who they were supposed to be talking to. During the reception, I watched as people fumbled through forced conversations, desperately trying to find some common ground. At one point, I overheard one of her online friends from a sci-fi forum trying to explain the plot of an obscure Japanese novel to a baffled elderly relative. It was painfully awkward. To make matters worse, Kate was so wrapped up in making sure that she made time for every single guest that she hardly got to enjoy her own wedding. She flitted from table to table, oblivious to the fact that most people were sitting in stiff silence, unsure of how to react with strangers they had nothing in common with. The days after the wedding were filled with stories from various guests about how awkward the whole thing had been. But Kate still didn't see it. She was convinced that her inclusive approach had been a success, and that all of these different groups had magically bonded over the course of a few hours. In the end, Kate's wedding was a perfect example of what happens when you try too hard to please everyone. She fell for the geek social fallacies, hook, line, and sinker, and ended up with a wedding that was more awkward than joyful, but she was happy. And maybe that's what mattered most to her. As for the rest of us, we just had to grin and bear it, hoping that the next family event would be a little less eclectic. So let me get this straight. An event that was not focused on what you or your significant other were doing, God forbid it might have been I don't know, somebody else's, decided that they wanted to have all of the people that were important to them over. And you know what? They had a decent turnout. I would say having 100 people show up is still pretty good. And God forbid you happen to think that, oh, these people can't go together. They don't all like exactly the same thing. Well, you know what? There's probably something that people did find in common at least. Also, on top of that, one of the comments saying that this person that is writing this is likely the type of person that peaked in high school. Yeah, I would not be surprised at that also. Especially considering the fact that the word geek probably was trying to be used in a derogative negative way, but, you know, good attempt on that, considering now modern-day geek knowledge and wording of all that stuff is more so just about people that like comic books and stuff, and liking those things is not bad at all. You're already coming off as the type of person that would say that you're too old to play a video game. Well, you know what? I'm gonna be playing my PlayStation. You can go be sad and watch your crime documentaries, you know? It just happen to be we each like to do our own things, so you know if we're gonna be assuming stuff, then we can start assuming stuff about yours. I, 30M, have never truly been attracted to my girlfriend, 28F's body. I love her mind, but the lack of the lewd tension is beginning to take a toll on our 8-year-long relationship. What can I do to save it? Before I met her, I only dated what my friends have referred to as blonde bimbos, based on looks. It never ended well, as we never matched intellectually or had any interests in common. In order to give myself the chance of finding someone worth keeping, I forced myself to ignore the outside and only focus on the inside. That is when I met my current girlfriend. She is smart. We basically have all of the same interests and hobbies. I love her family. She gets on great with my friends, and some of the girlfriends have even started their own girls' club together, so that they can hang out without being reliant on guys. I was hoping that my toxic view of women would change, and that over time I would learn to find her body even just as half as beautiful as I find her mind. But it hasn't. She is the biggest person I have ever dated. She is a head lower than me, but weighs a decent amount more. Absolutely not my usual type. I am fit, I work out 5 days a week, and love the mountains and hiking. She has never been petite, but have been a weightlifter before, so she is strong as a bull. We have gone on many wonderful hikes, but are limited to the less demanding treks due to her size. The first 2 years, we had S about 4 to 6 times a week. Everything was wonderful, and I didn't mind that her body was not the prettiest, because I was so in love with her mind. And I was always thinking and hoping that one day I would wake up and love her body. But I don't. Now, the past 4 years, we have S maybe once every 3 months. If I had said yes every time she initiated, we would be at 3 to 5 times a week still. It crushes my heart that I feel so superficial, and that I am doing this to her. But I always keep on thinking that one day it will be different. Now, almost 8 years in, and I'm lost. My mood has changed the last year, and I'm starting to think that I will never get rid of my stupid preferences of a lean, fit body. We have talked about our lack of intimacy many times, and tried a lot of different stuff to try to gain back that spark. But it always bounced back to the same old thing within 2 weeks. I have never told her what I think about her body. That would crush her self-esteem, I think. She is already a bit insecure, and that she is strong with a layer of fat on top, and not a lean, skinny petite. We have never had a real fight. I don't think either of us have gone to bed angry at the other person. Her family is the best in the world. So why can't I get my dumb mind to accept her as her? And love her for the beautiful person that she is. She has said that she will marry me the second I ask. Even her parents have begun to ask me when I would ask her. But I do not want to marry her until I can figure out my issues. I have not been able to get my mind to it. I'm at a total loss as to what I can do to save this. Is it savable? I don't want to get a divorce in a few years just because I still cannot change my view. Do you have any tips to help me see her true beauty? TLDR, my GF is an ex-powerlifter with a big body, which I have never been able to look at as attractive. We match perfectly on all other levels, and I hoped that I would learn to see her beauty. It's now been almost 8 years, and I'm still struggling to the extent that our relationship is about to fall apart. What can I do so that I see her true beauty? So let me see if we get this straight. You find her absolutely stunning on the internal aspect, but you can't bring yourself to, like, anything about her exterior appearance. And that single factor is the absolute undenying thing that is keeping you from wanting to marry her. I'm looking through the comments on a lot of this, and a lot of people are making sense when they say, dude, you shouldn't have wasted the 8 years of her life. Because imagine being in a relationship with somebody for all these years and you guys get along absolutely wonderfully, but the reason why he has not done the whole ring thing is because, oh God forbid, you aren't pretty enough to his standards as in relation to past people they've dated. That would definitely come out as a mental kick in the pants. Use your fat female friend to your own advantage. Ah yes, you know, because this is about to be a wonderful story and everything, let's just knock it off with a wonderful title too. This ain't the controversial, but we are on Reddit, so screw it. Everything's controversial here. We all know that in today's world, a man is nothing unless he dated someone, right? To be honest, the same applies to women as well. Blame these degenerated times, not me for that. Yes, Redditors will start being. Now, how am I an ignorant fool and everyone has some worth, no matter the gender, race, and so on and so forth? You heard that so countless times there, yet everyone is getting lonelier, and they desperately want to lose virginity as soon as they can. Again, don't blame me. Blame the studies and your miserable life. If the illusion that you claim is correct, then I would not need to post this. The reality is completely opposite. A man is worth nothing. He is born as an empty book, and he writes his own worth into it for a whole life. Women, on the other hand, they are born with worth. All they need is to protect it. This is how the world works. This is why boys want to have a whole redacted harem of women before they hit 30s. They want to collect them like Pokemons. The younger they are, the better. Whoever is saying the opposite is lying or is gay. This is nothing new. This is how the world always worked. Okay, now that we understand this, let's get down to business. Women do not like men who haven't dated anyone. Why? Because in their heads, you are not, what the best word for this, wanted. They want a man that everyone wants and make their friends jealous. Your whole existence is red flags to them unless you manage to collect at least one chick. And she must exist because, trust me, they will ask about her. The moment you say that you haven't been in the game yet, they will change their opinion of you, especially if you entered in the 20s. This is also nothing new. In the past, you need to work your butt off to get yourself a woman. Nowadays, you need as well. Okay, now comes the Redditors who starts complaining that I am generalizing, and every woman is unique little butterflies. BS. You are not freaking worth it, man. Unless you look like Jason Momoa, you are not going to get a woman. What do you want to bet person writing this don't look like Jason Momoa? Okay, how do we fix this problem now? Every male Redditor has asked this question at least once in their life, and I am going to answer it. Now, there will come some obvious stuff first. 1. Hit the gym. If God did not give you looks, He gave you muscle. Use them to improve both your looks and confidence. 2. Invest in some good barber. Hopefully, you have hair. If you don't, well, forget this one. 3. Smell good. Shower regularly. No freaking exceptions. And buy yourself some parfum. It doesn't need to be expensive. Just smell good. It's not nuclear physics. 4, read some books instead of cancerous Reddit posts. You want to build a vocabulary. You want to at least be perceived as intelligent at first. You are not going to be perceived as intelligent if you can't read this post to the end. 5, build charisma. Enough charisma, and you are already on top of the mountain. F money and everything else. If you can't make a girl laugh from time to time, she will not stay. And now comes the best part. You need a fat female friend. Everyone has a fat female friend these days, as we all eat junk. Some, on the other hand, eat too much of it. A fat female friend is always useful. She is one of the boys' club, as no one wants to date her, at least not sober. She can be used for numerous other things. If you don't have a fat female friend, well, rent her something from your friend that has it. And what you want to do is to invade female spaces with her. You are a good-looking fella. She is fat. In the eyes of the chicks, you are simply better looking out of the two. But this alone is not enough. She needs to hug you in front of them. This will spark enough chemical process in their brains so that you now evolved from a good-looking fella into a good-looking and wanted fella, and they will start competing against your fat friend. You are no longer a red flag, you are just a flag now. After that, you approach them and then kick the fat girl out. Buy her some donuts after that. Use the advice above, and you are now a green flag. You are welcome. What's the science behind this, you are now asking yourself? I have no idea, but it works. Girls seem to compete with each other the same as us. They want to have some confirmation that you are wanted by others. That there is some girl in your life that they will have to compete against. Even though they know that she is fat, she is enough of a threat. Why would I not just date a fat girl then? I can't be picky as she is my first. You can, but I seriously doubt that you will want to have that picture inside of your brain for the rest of your life. Ain't nothing wrong with dating anybody who got the tummy and everything. If anything, that just makes anybody more huggable because they got more to hug. But you know what really is a bad thing to have is that horrible mindset that thinks that, oh hey, usable fat friend is very much a good mindset to have. That is not good at all, and I very much hope that you do not have any type of significant other, because I can guarantee you that they will be in for a horrible time. Why will my wife, 29F, not have S with me, 30M? To start, I'm 30M and she's 29F. We've been together for 10 years now. Prior to the past couple of years, I would say that we do the under the sheet shuffle frequently was fine. Sure, we had dry spells, but nothing like now. In our younger days, we could do it 2 to 3 times a day sometimes. We just had a baby who is about 6 months old now, and I have a son from a prior relationship. I was 18. It's not that it never happens, but on average, I'd say once a month or so. Prior to her pregnancy, it seemed that she only wanted S when she was ovulating. The entirety of her pregnancy, we had S twice. Now it happens once a month or so. When it does happen, it almost always has to be planned or scheduled. She must shower first. It is never on the spot or spontaneous. Anytime I initiate it, 99 times out of 100, I'm shut down. She has gained some weight over the years. She's not happy with her body. Honestly, I've grown to really enjoy some of her curves. My attraction to her hasn't stopped or changed with the weight gain. I continued to show plenty of the interest of the lewd sorts. I've always told her that I'm fine with it unless she gets to the point where she's unhealthy. As far as our day-to-day goes, I know I'm not perfect, but I do try my best to be a good husband and father. I do more than my fair share of cooking and cleaning. I take care of the yard work. I take care of our vehicles. I take care of all the home and vehicle repairs that I am able to do myself. Financially, we make about the same. I probably cover a bit more than she does, and I pay child support for my older son too. She never seems to have any money left. I do odd jobs here and there to make some extra cash. I'll usually throw her 10 to 15 bucks when I do so that she can treat herself to Starbucks. Due to my schedule, she takes care of the baby in the morning and does all the daycare and drop-offs. I usually pick up the baby once or twice during the week. We tend to split the evening care, and I always take care of bedtime. She does just about all of that overnight stuff when needed. Overall, she's a really good sleeper. I have no problems watching our son when she wants to go somewhere or do something. I do way more for our baby than what I hear about some of her friends' spouses. Date nights became less frequent after we moved in together about 5 years ago, but I still happen even if it was just going to get dinner real quick. Now with the baby, we are about to have our second date night in the past 6 months. Obviously, it will be harder to have these with the baby. The times that we have had it's been anywhere from just good to amazing. She can get really into it and seems like she enjoys it. If she's faking her pleasure, then she needs to move to Hollywood. I don't think there's any performance issues on my end. I'm looking for more often, more spontaneous, and even trying some new things. It's been a decade. I've brought it up before, and most times I get treated like I'm in the wrong. She'll say things like, "Sorry, I'm a terrible wife," or, "If that's what you want, you need to go find someone else." To sum everything up, I try to be the best husband, father, and provider that I can be for our family. Is there something that I'm missing? Is there somewhere that I'm lacking? What else do I need to be doing? Is this a her problem that she has to figure out? Is our marriage dead in the water? Where do I go from here? Edit, one response I'm continuing to see is, she just had a baby. Maybe I was not clear enough, but these concerns started prior to pregnancy. But with that is going to have to be it with the video. If you guys would love to be absolutely amazing, show your support, and see more videos like this one in the near future, be sure to hit that like button, leave a comment down below to start up them wholesome internet discussions, and if you guys have not already, subscribe to the channel and turn on them notifications. And I'll be sure to see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching, and bye-bye!